Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Steph and this is Ordinary Plant Girl. If you are new here, thank you for clicking on this video, and if you are returning, thank you so much for spending more of your time with me. Well, we're cutting it pretty close. Summer's just around the corner, but I am here with my spring favorites. So if that is something that you are interested in seeing, please stick around. So if you saw my last favorites video, it was my winter favorites, and I think I said in there that I was probably going to do my favorites seasonally because I can't pick one set of favorites every month. Does that make sense? Makes sense to me. But now we are here in the end, almost at the end of spring. We are heading into summer, and I figured it was time to show you what plants I was loving over the course of the spring. So let's start off with one of my #1 favorites, which is my Alocasia scalprum. This is by far one of my most favorite Alocasias that I have. I was actually surprised at how much I came to love this plant, and just in general, it's something that I look at every day. You can see right in here that there is a new leaf coming, and it's actually really weird because the first time I saw this happen with kind of like this weird like scoopy top on it, I thought I was getting a flower, but it turned out to be a leaf. And then the next one that came out didn't do that, and now this one's doing that. I don't know, I'm just kind of going with it. If it flowers, it flowers. I'm okay with that too, but I really love the leaves. So I think this is one of the longest leaves that I have on this plant. But at the same time, this newest leaf, I can't even figure out what I'm doing here. This newest leaf isn't as long, but it's just as beautiful, and it's nice, and it's glossy, and it's shiny. And I got this back in May of last year, so I've had it just over a year. And I've never had a problem with this plant. There's very few plants that I have that I don't have any issues with. So it makes me really happy when I do have a plant that I don't have any issues with. I just recently repotted this one though. And I had to put it in a bigger pot just because it wasn't root bound, but I couldn't keep the roots in the pot, and that it was floppy. It was the thing. It was the thing. But the one thing I do know about this is that it can handle the bigger pot. I think it was in a 5-inch, and this is a 7. Yeah, this is a 7-inch pot. So I know that it can handle it though. I haven't had any problems with this foot, knock on wood, because we don't want problems now. I haven't had any issues with root rot, anything like that, and it's just been such an easy plant to grow, and I just love how prehistoric it looks, and I just can't say enough. This is definitely one of my all-time favorite plants, and if I could recommend an Alocasia for anybody to get, it would be this one. So next is one that I haven't had a year yet. I got it in September of last year. And despite the problems I've had with it, it is currently another one of my favorites, and it is my Philodendron Sodoroy F. Now you can see it's kind of all over the place. She's not little, she's not big. I have a couple of yellowing leaves, and I found out recently, because I didn't research the plant before I put it on a pole, I had no idea that the Sodoroy F was a crawler. So if you can see what is going on here, so it's already rooted into the pole. I went to take it off the pole when I found that out, and it's already rooted in, so I left it. But you can see, if you can see that right there, you can see that it is starting to grow this way off the pole. I don't know what I'm going to do with that, but I'm going to have to do something. I just watered this plant like a couple of, not even 2 days ago. The moss pole, it's been pretty warm here. It's not completely dry, but it's getting there. I'm just gonna pull this. I'm just pulling off the sheath there. And we can see a new growth point right there too. So I do have a couple of the leaves are yellowing, and that was my fault because I waited too long to give her some water. I'm sorry, but this is the newest leaf and I'm so in love with it. I never thought that I was going to be such a big fan of this plant, but I really am. The last couple of leaves had a little bit of damage, but what can you do? It was low humidity. They were getting stuck on the way out and just kind of, you know, tore themselves just like that, which a lot of my plants did. The newer ones, anything that was kind of new that I brought into the house did that, because they kind of had to adjust to the low humidity, but we're okay. I mean, even right now, my humidity is maybe 50. They've adjusted, it's all been good. We've got some nice roots going on down here, and I don't know what I'm gonna do about the way it's growing. I'm probably gonna have to deconstruct it. I don't know. What do you think I should do? Leave it and see what happens, which doesn't make any sense because it's probably just gonna pull the pole over. I don't know how I get myself into these things. But anyway, that is my Philodendron Sodoroy F. Next up is one that I got in just March of this year, and I've probably mentioned it a lot, but how can I not mention it when it is one of my favorite anthuriums going right now, and it has just been an absolute beast to grow, and that is my Anthurium Forget Me Not crossed with a Pinkley. So, I mean, when you look at it like this, like, I mean, it's a beautiful plant. One of the things I love though is that this newest leaf it kind of looks like a scoop. I have no idea why that happened. If it's normal, if it's not normal, no idea. But see, we've got, I don't know how we've come to this point, but anyway, eventually, I'm not too concerned about it right now, but I will put it in a bigger pot once I get more roots in there. And I'm not a fan of putting moss around the base of the plant because it deceives me. It's a long story. I don't even know how to tell you that, but I kind of don't like the look of it for aesthetic reasons. So it's possible that I might put a collar around this one. I'm not quite sure, but for now, I've only had it a few months, so I'm not gonna mess with it too much. I'm just gonna let her do her thing. We'll see what happens with the next leaf that I get. And it's almost like bunny ears, sort of, if you can, yeah, I don't know. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. I just love this plant so much. Anyway, this one actually seems like it needs to be watered as well. It feels pretty light. It dries out really quickly for not having a lot of roots, but when you look, at those, oh, I love looking at them. They're great. This was a cross that I never expected to have, but I do, and I'm thankful for it. So that is my third favorite for spring, my Anthurium Forget Me Not crossed with a Pinkley. This next one that I have actually started out as a one leaf unrooted cutting back in 2021. That is my Jade Scindapsus. So this one was really slow growing. I do have some yellowing on the tip of this leaf, and I think this one over here too. I'm not exactly sure why that has happened, but it's been a really slow progressing thing. And I'm not sure if it's because I overwatered. I've got another leaf here that's starting to get yellow tips as well. I have no idea why, but what was I saying? Oh, this plant started out as a one leaf cutting. Took absolutely forever to root for me. Forever. And then it started to root and I didn't get a leaf for the longest time. So what I did was, once this plant started to get, I think it got 5 leaves on it, maybe 4, I might have pushed it, I started cutting to propagate it. So what I've been doing is I have been chopping and propping and refilling the top of this. And this piece is actually really loose, but it's rooted in there. Must be tipping forward because of the light, I guess. That is going to be my guess at it. But I currently have a couple more pieces of it that are rooting in water right now. But since spring kicked off, it grew. Like, the difference between the end of winter, so about 3-4 months ago, the difference between then and now is absolutely crazy. This has grown so quickly, quicker than I thought it was going to grow, because of how long it took just to get that one leaf to root and give me more leaves. And I'm just so completely thrilled with the way this plant looks. But this was a plant that I wanted, and it was really hard to find here. Like, you couldn't just find a jade scindapsus. I actually did a trade for that little one leaf unrooted cutting. I love it. It's one of my favorite plants. It will always be one of my favorite plants. I look at it every morning. It's one of the first things I look at when I wake up, because it's on a shelf in front of my bed. So that is my jade scindapsus. Next on my list, I'm actually surprised I've got quite a variety. I think I only have one of each genus. And for the life of me, I can't remember if I did that in the last one. Now this one is absolutely stunning. And I know that I've said it before that it was one of my favorites, but this is my Aglionima Silver Bay. Just those silver markings on this is one of my favorite things about this plant. And the interesting thing about Aglionimas is that normally they can pop quite rapidly, but this one has not. I have got the same 3 stalks in here that I've had since I got this plant. So I got this one in January of 2021. Never fails. Never fails me. Doesn't matter where I put it. I can put it in low light. I can put it in higher light. It does definitely grow faster in higher light, but I didn't see any issues with having it in a lower light situation. I've got a new leaf, if you can see it, coming up right there. I'm not sure if the other ones have. Now this one's got a new leaf coming out too, and so does this one. So they're all producing leaves, but I haven't gotten any pups yet. So we're gonna see what happens there, because as bushy as it is, because it is like really bushy, if you look at this side, it's really leggy, and that's just because of where it sits. So it actually sits low enough where I'm pretty much looking at the top of it, but it still kind of comes forward to the light. Yeah, I would love to see this pup and give me just more of a bushy Aglionima, and then I could even divide it and have a whole nother plant, because this is probably my favorite one. I do only have 2 Aglionimas. I did have 4 at one point, but I find I have trouble with the ones that are either pink or pink and yellow. I don't know what it is about them. I just can't, they won't grow for me. My Aglionima Red Emerald is okay, sorta. I don't know if you can see it behind me. It's actually just up over here on the desk. And I mean, she's got problems, but she's still surviving. It's still an easy plant, just I think I had it in a little bit lower light than it should have been in. But anyway, so this is my Aglionima Silver Bay. Now my next one I got in January of last year, and it too came as an unrooted cutting from a plant friend of mine, and that is my Hoya Macrophila elbow marginata, Hoya macrophylla, elbow marginata. This one is actually really dry right now, but it's got a new leaf coming out right here. And then it actually also has, if I can show it, a new leaf coming in right here too. And I love that they come in, the margins are pink when they come in. I always wanted one of these, and thank you so much to Louise who gave me this, and I just realized that it branched off into another branch. Probably because I went through this phase of cutting all my Hoyas back. It was a thing, but I did it, and I loved it. I love Hoyas so much because they're so easy. This is just a stunning, stunning plant. This is a new leaf too, right here. You can see how just bright green it is. And I love how thick the leaves are, although they're kind of soft right now because, like I said, it's kind of dry. I gotta water it. But it's kicked off this spring, and I can't wait to see what it looks like by the end of summer. So that is my Hoya macrophylla elbow marginata. That is a mouthful. This next one is super cute, and it's one of my favorites too because it's one that I look at every day, and I didn't expect to. Sorry, I've got all the plants over here on a side table. I'm trying to get this one out without wrecking everybody. So this is my crassula sunset curls, otherwise called a curly jade. I have been talking about how I've been trying to kind of increase my jade collection because over the years that I've had plants, I've never been able to keep even just a normal green jade alive. But so far, I bought two, I think at the end of 2019, and they were just in tiny little 1-inch pots. And they've grown magnificently, and I decided that I would bring more jades of different varieties into my home because of that. And this was the first one that I bought that was outside of any other normal jade that I'd seen. It sits in a terracotta pot, one of the few things I have in terracotta. It loves to dry all the way out and then be thoroughly watered. I try not to wait until the leaves are soft, but one thing also with this plant is that the leaves are typically softer than your green or variegated jades. When I first got it, I was watering it thinking that it needed to be watered based on the leaves, but it really didn't. I adjusted over that time, and it was all good. And if I do go a little bit too long without watering it, it will do this. It will just start dropping. Start drying up and dropping the leaves. So there's a little bit down there. I have not actively tried to propagate this plant because I'm a little scared to. I mean, I'm sure it'll work the same way as the other ones, but I haven't gone there yet and experimented with it. It has gotten quite a bit bigger because I think I only had it in, I don't even think I got it in a 4-inch pot. I think it was in something smaller. It's really hard for me to tell the growth on this one, but I can definitely tell that it is bigger than it was. But all those curly little leaves are just so cute. And when I saw it, I had to have it. So that is my crassula sunset curls, or my curly jade. Okay, so now this last one, I'm gonna have to take you to it. It's kind of a pain to move. And I already moved it once to water her, so I'm gonna take you over to my next one, which I got in January of 2021, and it is my Syngonium Chia Pence. Okay, so right here is my Syngonium Chia Pence. So it's not typically as big as one that you would see for the amount of time that I've had it. So I do have to say that I haven't lost very many leaves off of this plant at all, but we've had a little bit of trouble adjusting. So it is sitting on a table that's about 2 feet tall, and like I said, it does have this 3-foot, 4-foot stake in it. But the plant itself, hopefully the lighting works with me. There we go. The plant itself is absolutely one of my favorites. It is one of the easiest plants that I have. I did take a cutting a long time ago and gave it to a plant friend. And this is just kind of what we're dealing with. This is the largest leaf. All the leaves that have grown after that have been smaller, but it was winter. They have gotten bigger since this one, which was this is the second one from the top. So this is the newest leaf, and I mean, it's not bad. I can't wait to have those really, really big leathery leaves, but I'm happy with it. It can comfortably sit in this corner. It's not too large like some of my other plants are getting, and it's constantly always going to be one of my favorite plants. Okay guys, well, thank you so much for hanging out with me and checking out my favorites of the spring of 2023. I will be back close to the end of summer with another favorites video for my favorite plants of the summer of 2023. So hopefully you will come back and check that out as well. I hope you are all safe and well. Please like and consider subscribing to my channel. Leave a comment below if you have anything to say, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.